the Parrot bebop drone. The reason why I bought this drone was to perform inspections on roofs for my clients before they buy property, so I could give them a full view of the property. And for that purpose, this drone works beautiful. I'll get into more about the use of it. I want to talk about a couple of the issues that I have had with it. One of the issues everyone seems to have is the feet fall off. There's little rubber feet that go into these little holes here, and I lost two the very first day I had it, and then I lost another one, so I had to take the last one off because it was sitting lopsided. That's a real poor design. I think they could have came up with a lot better design for it. It's not a major deal, but it's something that they should have came up with something better for it, in my honest opinion. That's something they should have fixed. Another issue is lack of instructions when you buy it. This comes with a big paper with about 50 languages on it, and in each language you have about 2 little squares of instruction. The instructions consist of pretty much charge battery, put battery in the drone, and fly the drone. That's ridiculous. There's a ton of other things that you need to do with this. That's not good enough. There is a comprehensive manual that I will link in the description below that I found online that actually gives you a lot of good information. And all they would have had to do was print one more line on that paper giving you the link to this paperwork. And it would have eliminated 100%, not 100, but it would have eliminated a huge chunk of their problems that they were having with this. A lot of the problems that they're having with this, I already can tell, are issues of not being set up properly and other things. Now there's some other ones that are having problems legitimately, and it is a new product. It's to be expected. I think it's a little bit more than what it should be happening, and because of that, it gives me another issue that I have with this drone, which is the confidence in it that I have. I haven't had any major problems with it other than operator error that I have been able to determine was my fault. The crashes that I've had were my fault. I messed up. That being said, some of those crashes may not have happened if I had full instruction. You know, I knew I had to calibrate it because I had already read that online about calibrating it. I did not know about the trim, that I learned later. And I also did not learn about the GPS lock that I learned later as well. That was something I learned by trial and error with a drifting problem that I was having. I noticed I would fly it at home and had no problems here. You know, I was flying it the first week, I'd say most of the time I flew it at my house or around my house, and wasn't having any problems. Then I went someplace else and I went to fly the drone. I set it up like I did. I calibrated it quick, set the trim. When it started flying fine. About a minute into my flight, all of a sudden it started drifting off to the right. And so I brought the drone back, I spun it around a little bit, let the controls go for a sec, and it started drifting the same direction. Although it wasn't drifting to the right this time, it was drifting to the front because I had turned the drone. Brought it back, landed it, recalibrated it, set it up, flew fine. And maybe it's a bug. About a couple days later, it happened again, and same thing. I was able to bring it back, landed it, no problem. But it's scary that, you know, I was holding up to get a picture on the roof, and this thing starts drifting off to the side. That's not something that you want the drone to do on its own. There could be power lines or anything over there that's going to hit, or you can actually drift far enough that you lose connection if you're not paying close attention to it. What I did find is after that I started really paying attention to everything, and I noticed when I was starting it up in a new location, I would do my, you know, calibration and everything, and I'd look at the screen, and I noticed that the GPS signal wasn't highlighted yet, so it didn't have GPS lock. So I launched it, and I was watching the screen, and sure enough, once the GPS locked on, it started to drift. I don't know if this is something that happens to everybody, or it's just happening to my drone. I don't know if it's a glitch in the software, or if it's just that it's catching its GPS and it thinks it has to go someplace else. I'm not sure. However, my solution, and it has worked so far, is I wait till the GPS lock is on before I launch it. If this is something that should be done with this, I think it needs to be included in the packaging to let people know so they don't have this issue. They think they're getting a drone that's going to stay in place, and it's not. You know, the drone touts itself being able to, you know, position itself and keep it in the same spot, which it does really well. One, it has a lock. So that's another complaint that I've had is they didn't, a lot of this information wasn't out there, and I think that's very, very poor on their part. It's caused them, I'm sure, a lot of problems not having this all out there. As far as I've seen some people with videos that it falls out of the sky all of a sudden. For the most part, I think maybe there's a software glitch that in some of these that or hardware glitch somewhere. That's a very big possibility. It is a new product. It is electronic. I had that happen one time to me. However, mine I was able to find out. I was using these VGE batteries, sorry, and I didn't have this one clipped in all the way. And I had noticed when I went and picked it up, when I pulled it out, it came right off. So my assumption is I did not have the contacts in here good enough, and it lost power. Because when I lost it, everything went away. There was no video. Like I've seen people where they fall in the video is still rolling. The video, everything cut off on mine. So mine I'm attributing to the battery. It has not happened again. So I just make sure every time now I push the battery in good and make sure it latches as best as it can. On the discussion of batteries. The factory batteries, I'm getting around 10 minutes of flight time average on these. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less. Depends on how I fly, but about 10 minutes of flight time. I think I said minutes before. Yeah, it's 10 minutes of flight time on these. On the VGE batteries, these were the first aftermarket batteries to hit the market that I was able to find. It is a 3D printed case. These weigh, I think it's about 10 grams more than the factory batteries, and you get around 8 minutes of flight time with these. I've gone up to about 8.5, and I've gotten down to about 6. Depends on how you're flying with it. Also on these, if you shake them around, you can hear the battery move a little bit inside. It's not a lot, but it might be enough to throw off a little bit and make the drone work a little harder. Might be attributing to the low efficiency of these batteries. I'm not 100% sure what the milliamp hours are on them. They said they were just like stock. However, there's a big drop for 10 grams of weight. This is the best battery I have found to fly with. It is an AR Drone 2.0 battery. It is a 2500 milliamp hour battery. It weighs about 30 grams more than the stock battery, but I get a constant flying time of around 15 minutes. Depending how I'm flying, it could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more. I've maxed it out around 15 minutes and 40 seconds with this. I did see a video where someone was flying a 2600 milliamp battery. I checked the specs on our battery. That battery weighs 30 grams more than this one. However, he did get 17 minutes of flight time out of his. I'm just not sure how it flies with it. It is more weight. With this one, I can tell you that the drone flies fine. If you're doing normal flying and photography, you will have no issues at all with it. It does do the flips with it. I tested it out. I don't usually flip the drone. I use it more for photography purposes. But I wanted to test it out. It did all the flips fine with this battery in it. The only thing I noticed was this is when I was doing some aggressive maneuvers, banking turns, it did drop altitude a little bit. So I had to compensate and lift the altitude up in order to keep it in track. It just takes a little bit more practice with flying it. But as I was banking around, I noticed it was dropping down to the ground. I just lifted up the altitude. It brought it right back up. Didn't have any issue with it. I think it just it wasn't compensating enough for the extra weight. As well with that, when you stop, like if you're flying at fast, full speed, and you let go of the controls, how it'll stop. It'll actually stop like it does with the other one, but I think it marks the place where it's supposed to have stopped, and it floats back that way. So it kind of overshoots a little bit because it is carrying more weight. But other than that, these batteries are phenomenal. I've actually ordered a couple more of them. I do know that there's a Chinese company making these batteries now that have supposedly 1800 milliamp hours. They're going to take like 3 or 4 weeks to get here. They're also $30, I believe, which is more than what I can get these batteries for. So I'm probably going to stick with these, but if anyone has gotten these batteries already and they've tested them, I'd love to know what the aftermarket batteries that look like the Parrot batteries are actually getting as far as flight times go. They only weigh 1 gram more supposedly, so they may be pretty close to this battery, and if they're close to it, I may consider getting some of them. This doesn't look as pretty when it's on the drone. I really don't care about how the drone looks. I care about how it flies and how I can use it. And with this battery, like I said, it gives me the time that I need. It gives me, what I need out of the drone. The extra flight time is nice to have. So I highly recommend those batteries there. Other than that, things that I really like about this drone is that it's very portable. I'm able to fit everything right in this book bag here. The drone, my batteries, my iPad mini 2, the visor I use for my iPad mini 2 for daylight flying. Everything fits in this backpack. Backpack weighs, I think, maybe 3 pounds when I'm done with everything. That's nothing. I can take this with me wherever I go. As a matter of fact, it usually goes with me every day. I never know when I have to go do any of these inspections. They call me up, tell me, can you go over and do this one? So I go and do them, and I always have it with me. And it's good to have it with me because there's other times where I'll see something that might be cool to go shoot video-wise, which is something I'm trying to get into a little bit more, shooting some pretty cool video with this. So for that purpose, I love this drone. Excuse me. With the Sky Controller, I'm interested in the Sky Controller. It's something I'm looking into. I have no problem buying the Sky Controller as a bundle to have an extra drone. My issue with the Sky Controller is how confident I feel with this drone. And right now, I don't have the confidence that I should have with the drone. Mostly because of what other people have put online that they've had issues with, doesn't make me feel confident flying it. And with the Sky Controller going that far of a distance, I just don't have the confidence to do it with it. Hopefully that will change the more I fly this one. If it does, I may really consider getting the Sky Controller. However, flying any great distance, they say that it'll go 2 kilometers. This battery pack will not fly you 2 kilometers and 2 kilometers back. There's no way that you'll be able to do it effectively. I know that it's the max range, but these battery packs are not going to do it. I don't even know if the 2500 milliamp battery will do it. If any will, it probably would be this one. Or that 2600 milliamp that I've seen someone else fly. I think this is the battery they definitely should have put into this drone. Why they didn't, most likely is price, but I'm getting these cheaper than what I can get the other ones for, so I'm sticking with these batteries. But that's my thoughts on the Sky Controller. It's something I'm looking into. The other option that I have is the NVIDIA Shield portable. I've looked into that a little bit. If anyone has used those, I know that there's plenty of videos on the AR drone with those, but I'd like to know if anyone has used them with this and what kind of ranges they're getting with it. I get pretty decent range with the iPad. I can go as far as I feel comfortable with it. The iPad mini 2 gets me plenty of distance that I need. I've gotten it up to 80 meters in altitude. Once I got up to that point, the video got choppy. I didn't feel safe keeping it going up. I didn't lose connection. I could have gone higher. I just didn't feel safe doing it. I didn't want to lose connection because I don't have anything else stronger than that to reconnect to it. And then I would have to wait for it to auto land, and I didn't think it'd have enough battery to auto land from 80 meters without falling at some point. So therefore, I didn't do that. The return home to feature. The return to home feature, automatic. The one on the button works fine. I've lost it in the sun a few times when I was flying at some distance. Couldn't tell where the drone was. Didn't want to have an accident. Hit return to home. Once it got back into my line of sight where I could see where it was, regained control of the drone, everything was fine. I did a somewhat of a test on the automatic one where you shut off the Wi-Fi. My problem is I don't feel secure enough to leave the Wi-Fi off long enough. From what other people have said and have tested it out, it's 2 minutes. That's too long. 2 minutes of being disconnected from the drone is insane. To wait for it to automatically return home, especially when you're only talking about a 10-minute flight time with your battery. So I think that's kind of ridiculous. They should really have bumped it down to 1. I would really like it to be something that I can work with on the app, that I can automatically do. Set it to what I want. Yeah. Me personally, 20 seconds go by and it's not connected, we'll start returning to home. That's what would make me feel safe, because what if I'm in a section where I don't have 2 minutes of battery left, and now I lost it, and now 2 minutes are going to go by. Yeah, it's going to try to return home, and then 5 seconds later it's going to auto land in the middle of a lake. I think that's just ridiculous that they do it. That's something that I really hope that they fix and put into the app. Also, altitude and speed should be in the app. I'm waiting for waypoints in the app. All of this stuff needs to be done for me to be able to recommend this as a good product. It is a good product. It does work. There's things, like I said, that I think they need to work on. It's not a perfect product. It's not a product for everybody. If you're planning to do night flights, it's not for you. This thing does not take good video at night. You can, fix it up a little bit in some software, but it's still, if you're planning to do night flights, get a Phantom, get something else, get something you can put a Hero 4 on and fly and get some night video with it if that's what you want. But get something with a gimbal, another platform. This isn't the platform for nighttime. You can put lights on it. There's been some people that put some good lights on it, but it's not the platform for night flying. It could be fun to fly it around a little bit if you want, but like I said, that's not what it's good for. Let's see. With the batteries, like I said, if you're getting this one, just make sure you get that clip. That clip is important. It holds it into the battery. Pick them up at Lowe's, $3 for 20 of the plastic clips. Goes right under the strap, holds it in place. Believe that's about it. If you guys have any questions or comments, please put them below. Also, rate and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. It really helps out with the videos. And if you have any other questions at all, please feel free to ask me. Also, if you guys have any of your experiences you want to share, especially with the Shield or with other batteries that you guys have tried, especially those other ones coming out that look like the black ones here, I would love to hear about that. I'm very interested in it, to see what I'm going to use in the future. But other than that, like I said, for videos where you're going out hiking and you want to get some cool shots, stuff like that, if you go out with a group of friends and you guys are mountain biking, want to get some cool shots of you guys out there while you're doing it, this is perfect. Throw it in the book bag, use the tablet so it stays, compact, and it's perfect for that. With the Sky Controller, it does bulk it up a bit, and that's where I'm torn. If I'm going to spend that money and I'm going to put that much bulk, there are other options out there that can do different video. And if I get a different one, then I have 2 different kinds of drones to use, and I can do different types of flights. So, but definitely leave me your comments. If you have any questions, like I said, please put them below. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day.